Today we're going to look at the last couple levels. This is a level 3 question, and the next page is a level 4 question. But it's really nothing different. We have multiplication that we have to use the distributive property for. We have addition and subtraction that we might have to do something with. But the end of the goal is just to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to simplify. So we're going to start with order of operations. If you remember right, order of operations uses the acronym PEMDAS. So we got to do anything in parentheses first, then any exponents, then we're going to do multiplying together, and lastly addition and subtraction. If you have more than one set of parentheses, you do inside out. So here we're going to start with the parentheses, and I see x squared plus 2. These are not like terms, so we can't do anything with them. So let's look at the other set of parentheses. I have x squared, 3x, and negative 5. It is tempting to say x squared and 3x are like terms, but they are not. And x can only be combined with another x, not with an x squared. X squareds can only be combined with other x squareds. So again, these are not like terms. So there's nothing to do with the parentheses. Next, we're going to deal with the exponents. And I see a squared here. Nothing to do there, nothing to do there. So we're going to have to get rid of these parentheses, and we're going to use the distributive property. So we're going to use the distributive property in both cases. The 3 has to be distributed to both things inside here. And here, remember, this minus symbol stays with the 4, and we're going to distribute it into all 3 of these. So we got to do both of those things. So we start over here. 3 times x squared is just simply 3x squared. 3 times 2 is 6. So this is going to be plus 6. And then we're going to distribute over here and have negative 4 times x squared is negative 4x squared. Negative 4 times 3x is negative 12x. And negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20. And make sure you're really careful with the signs, because most people have this negative 4, but then these two signs will be reversed. These are the correct signs, because negative times a positive is negative. Negative times a negative is a positive. So please make sure you watch the signs. Lastly, we need to combine like terms. So I'm going to switch the colors right here, and we're going to look for like terms, and I see a couple x squareds that we're going to have to combine, and I see a number here that's going to be combined with that number, and then lastly we have an x all by itself. So we're going to combine the colors that are alike. We're going to start with the x squareds, and I have 3x squared. This minus goes with the 4x. This is 3x squared minus 4x squared is negative x squared, or negative 1x squared. Negative 1x squared and negative x squared mean the same thing. So we have 3x squared minus 4x squared gives us a negative 1x squared, or simply negative x squared. We're going to do the x's next. There's only one of them, so we're going to simply rewrite it. And lastly, we're going to do the constants, and I see a plus 6 here. I see a plus 20, so when we add those together, we get plus 26. And again, we cannot combine x's with x squared, so this is our most simple answer. So this is the correct answer to simplifying this mess. The point here is to make sure that you're using the distributive property. There'll be like terms to combine, but there's going to be more than one thing to do, so it's just going to be uglier than your other cases. Let's look at another example. In this case, I do have more than one set of parentheses, so we got to do inside out. So the first thing I got to do is the inside set of parentheses, so I'm going to highlight them right here for us. The inside is going to be this, because inside this set of parentheses, x plus 2, there's nothing to do. Inside this set of parentheses, 2x minus 3, there's nothing to do. So then we got to lump them together, and with the minus symbol here, we can do this. Over here, x minus 4, there's also nothing to do. So let's deal with this first, and we're going to do the problem. I'm going to rewrite it over here. We got, how about not in yellow? There we go. We got this problem right here. X plus 2 minus 2x minus 3. Now to get rid of this negative sign, it only affects the second thing. So the first set of parentheses doesn't need to be there. But this minus does get distributed to both things afterwards. So we get negative 2x, and the negative make a positive 3. And then we would combine like terms. So I'm going to now do it over here, but that's what we're going to do first. So we have inside the big set of parentheses, and then outside we're going to have x minus 4. And here we got x plus 2, and then we just said negative times 2x is negative 2x, and then negative times a negative 3 is positive 3. So same thing we got over here, but this is what it looks like when you keep it inside the parentheses. Now we're going to combine everything inside. So just like before, we have some things that are like. We have an x with a negative 2x. We got a 2 with a 3. And we're only dealing with this one set of parentheses, so it doesn't matter that these are both alike over here. We're only dealing with the parentheses. So this first set inside here, since we're not doing anything with the second set, we're going to just rewrite it. And we had x minus 2x is negative x, or negative 1x, because this has a 1 here. So 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So there's the negative 1. It's hidden. And we have 2 plus 3 is 5. So at negative x plus 5 and x minus 4. Now we're going to have to use the distributive property. Every once in a while it's called FOIL. So if you're more familiar with the acronym FOIL, go ahead. I like to just call it the distributive property. Distributive property says we have to distribute everything that we have. So we're going to start with our first term right here, negative x, and it gets distributed until I have nothing else to distribute it to. And then we're going to go back and we're going to take the other number, which in this case is positive 5, and we're going to distribute it as well until we run out of numbers and there's nothing left. And if we add another term here, we just keep on going. It doesn't matter how many you have, you just keep following the pattern. So every one of those lines we're going to have to multiply. So I get negative x times x, negative x times x. Well, negative times a positive is a negative, and x times x is x squared. And this is really important. X times x is x squared. It is not 2x. It is x squared. We get negative x times 4. Negative times a negative is a positive. X times 4 is 4x. So remember, two negatives make a positive, and x times 4 is 4x. So we're done with the red. Now we're going to go with the green. So this time we're going to do the same thing with 5. So 5 times x is 5x. It's positive, so we'll put the plus there. And we get 5 times negative 4 is negative 20, so we'll use the minus symbol for negative 20. So we get negative x squared plus 4x plus 5x minus 20. We're looking for like terms. And we're going to start with x squareds. I only seem to have one of them. We'll go with x's. There are a pair of them. And then we'll go with constants, and there is one of them. So the only thing we have to combine are the ones that are in green, which are our two x's. So we get negative x squared, just rewriting it, plus we have 4x plus 5x. That happens to be 9x. And we'll tack on that minus 20, and that is our simplified answer. So if you have questions, please make sure you ask, but this would be an example of a level 4 question, something that's even more complicated than the level 3 question, where you're going to have to do a lot more stuff. If you need anything else, please let me know.